Hi, everyone. This is Jacqui Cooper with JCooperTravels. And today I am really excited because we're going to be talking about something that's close to my heart. It's about protecting the environment by keeping bees and flowers and vegetables and fruits and all the plants and botanicals alive because of making sure that our ecosystem is in balance. And I talk about bees because I know that it's really important. There's been a lot of, background on the internet about how bees are dying and how it's really important to support them because without them, we don't have the pollination that we need. And I connected with a really special person on LinkedIn. He has developed a business and his whole passion is about making sure that the bees are able to continue to exist in a way that's healthy for them and obviously fruitful for us. So I want to bounce over, the introductions actually to my special friend so he can introduce himself and his business, because even though a lot of what we're going to talk about is in process, he's an inventor and a very creative person. And I want to make sure that I keep everything proprietary that might need to be proprietary. So how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. My name is Reg Foo. I'm the owner and the inventor of the Hive. In October of 2018, I developed a hive system that will increase the production of bees and honey without being a detriment to the bees and help to prevent the spread of disease amongst the hives.
So that's a lot of information. So tell me, how did you get involved with this? What kind of made you so passionate about designing something to help bees?
Well, it all started in 2013 in my apartment in Capitol Hill in Denver. I was eating honey and, it just came to me while I was eating the honey, and I thought to myself, what would it take to start a honey business? And more importantly, there's got to be more to the honey, then I started to do a lot of research, and then in 2013 I started doing that research and started the Jacqui Foo Honey Company. From that, I immersed all of my time in research into studying the bees. I've spent many hours, hive hours, outside just observing bees and seeing how they behave and seeing what in our environment, what we are doing as humans that are affecting, the bee issue that we have, the honeybee issue, because they are so important to our food chain. We've developed a food chain system that we're pretty much dependent on honeybees, especially in this country. So if something detrimental happens to the honeybees, we are in a lot of trouble. The honeybees are responsible for helping us reduce about 80% of our food source. If you like tomatoes, you like almonds, you like avocados, I can go on and on and on, but we need them, and it's because of the pollination. Pollination helps to increase the production of food, and if we have so many people in our country, upwards to almost 400 million, that if that were to stop, we would be in a lot of trouble.
So what's the population of the bees now? Are we sliding downhill, or are they making a comeback? Where are they now?
So let me first tell you something. If you talk to about 10 beekeepers, you might get 10 different answers.
Yeah.
And anyone that, takes bee classes, that's something that we say. Where are we right now? because of the lockdown, it was reported, from different sources that the bee populations have gone up. Okay, but that may be true, but beekeepers already know that we face a variety of problems. There's pesticides, there's neonicotinoids, there's the colony collapse disorder. There's a whole myriad of issues, especially the varroa mites. They're mites. And even the techniques that certain beekeepers are using to protect hives are turning out to be detrimental to the bees. So that is an issue. Because there's so many different variables that can go wrong with the hive, we are finding that a lot of beekeepers are quitting. People that have had bees in their families for generations and that have a couple of hundreds of hives, they've literally given up. And over the last decade, we've had 8 million people quit beekeeping altogether, and we're finding it harder and harder for people to join the ranks of being beekeepers.
So if we don't have people that are going to be beekeepers, where do those bees go?
That's a very good question. Sometimes, so when people quit, they usually sell their hives, or they'll either just stop altogether. They'll either just they'll stop together because their hives have been wiped out, literally wiped out. So there are a lot of different issues. Even the system that we have currently, we're putting a strain. We're putting a strain on the bees themselves. So when you have, let's just say people in Wyoming that ship their bees to California to help with pollination, and then they have to ship them back to Wyoming, that in itself is a stress on the bees. And people don't realize that.
I never thought about the fact that we're shipping bees for pollination. I always thought that the bees are in the areas where they need to pollinate.
That is happening. Bees are constantly being shipped across the country. And that's another issue that we're facing. But it's a necessary thing, or the levels of food production are going to go down. So
with who designed the first beehive, or the beehives that are being used right now? Because you've redesigned it and you're going to be sharing that new design soon. But
yes,
how old is the other beehive design? Is it very old?
It's over 100 years old, and it was formed by a priest by the name of Langstroth.
Wow.
And we currently use, when we talk about hives, usually there's the Langstroth hive, but there are a variety of different hives that have been used for thousands of years. There are different hives, but the current one that we use right now that's standard is the Langstroth hive.
So how long does it take to manufacture your hive? I mean, once it's in production, I mean, will you be able to meet the demand of people who might want to have access to your hive?
Well, I hope so. Well, we hope to meet demand, and we're hoping for a great demand. But I think that would be a good thing, if they were like, hey, we want more of your hives and that sort of thing. But yeah, we're planning on, rolling it out and meeting the demand slowly and steadily.
Is it going to be manufactured here in the United States?
Yes, it's going to be manufactured here in the United States.
That'd be awesome. So if someone like myself who has no experience, or even someone who has experience wanted to start a beehive and use your beehive, how easy or how hard is it to become involved with supporting this?
It's going to be really easy. It's going to be super easy. So all throughout the country, there are different bee stores and people offering bee classes. We'll be offering classes online as well. And we also recommend too that, if you have a beekeeper that is offering classes, to take those classes, because initially in our meeting, I just hit you with a bunch of information, and that was just a little smidge of what I was saying.
Yeah.
Here's the thing too. People that want to get involved in beekeeping they don't know anything about bees. They don't realize, until they start to take the classes, how much work is involved. There's a lot of information. And depending, if you have one hive, it's not too bad. People tend to forget to do certain things, like feed the hive, going in the hive. People have a great enthusiasm about beekeeping, but once they put that suit on, and then they're encountering, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 bees, and then they start to get stung, then they have a change of heart. Bees have a greater sense of smell 10 times than a dog. They can smell fear. Okay?
Interesting.
They can smell fear. There are tons of people that you can look on YouTube that work with bees that never wear a suit. That's not me. That's not me. And there have been a couple of times, because I've had hives throughout the whole metro area of Denver, Colorado, where I've been seen running down the street. A bee breached I got so excited. And this was in the beginning years of when I first started to beekeep. I'd be so excited about going to see my hives, and I wouldn't put my suit on all the way. So, the bees will find a way, if they're mad at you, to come and get you. So I've been known to be running down the street, and literally stripping off on someone's lawn, my bee suit, and having people laugh at me. They're like, this guy is crazy. So, but I want to reiterate the importance of beekeeping, and to realize that you're doing something important, and to not be fearful of beekeeping. And always double check too, to make sure that you don't have any allergies to bees before you start to beekeep, and if you are going to beekeep and you have an allergy, make sure that you have an EpiPen with you at all times.
Yeah. So have you thought about, or are there like agricultural colleges or other colleges, maybe not in the agricultural area, that are thinking about offering classes about beekeeping, or are there beekeeping clubs? Are there other ways to kind of share information about your hives to that network?
Yes, there are. And we are kind of being secretive about it, but if you are in the state of Colorado, I recommend joining the Colorado Beekeepers Association. And a big bee person that is an associate of mine in the beekeeping world, her name is Beth Conroy. She's very knowledgeable. She's a big advocate of saving the bees and does a lot of great work. And she sells delicious honey herself. So, but all you have to do is go on the internet, wherever you are, and, look up beekeeping near me, and there will be a plethora of options, hopefully, for you. There usually are.
So for those that are listening, they're on the podcast and on the Zoom, there's a block of information below, and that's where you'll be able to also access information on how to make contact. So that way you can also connect and learn more about beekeeping. Would you go ahead and share your website information? So that way, if people want to reach out to you to get your hive or learn more about what you're doing, that they can. So can you go ahead and tell everyone how to best reach you?
So right now we are so secretive that we don't have a Suki Hive website, but, and I'm serious, not to brag, I turned down a lot of money last year, from certain investors. I do have new investors now, thank goodness. I turned down a lot of money last year because it didn't work out well in the business sense for me.
Yeah.
So I've been very, when you have something that's important and you know that it's going to be a game changer,
Yeah.
I've been very secretive about intentionally about this. And originally, with my original investors, we were trying to set it up, or I was trying to set it up where no one would have known that I was the inventor.
Got it.
So things kind of changed, and on January 12th, of 2020, when I was at a meeting with Environment Colorado and the lieutenant governor and some of the state senators, at the end of that meeting, I had announced the secret that, hey, I have an invention that's going to help with the bees and it's going to be important. But, of course, until you have the proof in the pudding and it's out there, people are going to think that you're a crank. And I can understand that. So I know that my product, my hive works. I'm super excited about bringing it out. If anyone is interested in contacting me to find out a little bit more information, or if I could be of an assistance of them to become a better beekeeper, because, hey, I don't know everything. It's funny, I've been doing this for, over 8 years, and and I learn something new every day because there's so much information, but people can email me at Sooky, SOOKY .FOO as in foo @gmail.com, sooky.foo@gmail.com. And if you have any questions, or concerns, or, you need some encouragement about becoming a beekeeper, I'll be more than happy to assist you.
Awesome. That's awesome. And again, everyone, that information will definitely be in the podcast, JCooperTravels, in the block below. And you can also reach out to me at JCooperTravels@gmail.com. And I'm happy to put you in contact as well. And this is a really important area. And once the first hive is created and launched, I cannot wait to show it and support you in your adventure of marketing it and sharing it with the world, because I think this is really important. So
and not to confuse Sooky I named after my grandmother, but the actual hive is SUKI, Sooky Hive LLC, and Sooky stands for super uber kick-ass invention.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm so grateful for your interest. It's really an important thing. Everyone needs to be more mindful about, our environment and what we're doing. I'm not trying to tell people how to live, I'm just trying to, let people know that we really need to be more mindful of our environment because, you are what you eat, and the bees are helping you to produce what you're going to eat. And if we're throwing garbage into the environment, we're not making the lives of bees any easier. You know, they have to go and forage, you know, for pollen and for nectar, you know, and if you're using a bunch of pesticides in your garden, you know, you're putting that back into the cycle, you know, into the whole food chain, you know. So people have to start realizing that more.
Yeah, I agree with you totally. I think that we all have to, every little bit makes a huge difference, and there are always options, and we just have to kind of be more mindful as to what steps we take in our backyard and in our neighborhood. So I agree with you totally. So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. I look forward to continuing conversations with you. And like, again, everyone, like and subscribe, and definitely make sure that, you know, in your own life, decide what thing every day you want to do differently to help us protect our environment, because collectively as a whole, we can make a huge difference. And the bees are just one part, but they're a vital, vital part. So thank you again. And I look forward to talking with you again soon. Have a great day.
Thank you.